So, finding an internship is one of the hardest things about being a CS major. And I can tell you firsthand because I happen to be a CS major. And today I'm going to be sharing with you guys how I personally landed an internship with one of the big five companies. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm just going to take you through the process and just tell you the story and how I landed that internship. One thing about me, I know that my experience is completely different from other people. So please don't take it into heart, whatever I'm saying. This is just my experience, and this is just how I was lucky enough to land an internship. So first things first, just a little background on me. I did computer studies in high school, so I kind of had a solid background in CS. So I knew what coding is. I had some basics in web development, and then I took a gap year. I had a gap year before I started my my university degree. So I did a lot of Python, did a lot of Python projects, did a bit of lead code, and then I started my university degree. And during the first year, we were informed that you guys actually need an internship as a requirement for your graduation. So, like in the third year in my university, at least, it's a common thing in universities in Austria and Germany. And we were told, like, guys, yeah, y'all need internships. And if you don't get an internship, you risk not being able to graduate. So, me being me, I was in a situation where, first of all, I am not a permanent resident here. So I am on um I'm just yeah, I'm here on a fixed schedule and everything. So I knew that I needed to lock this in like immediately. So what I personally did, I grinded. I grinded. What these people are telling you, that some people are telling you that it's impossible to get an internship, it's impossible to get this in CS and everything. That is a lie. It is impossible if you do not want to put in the work that other people are putting in. If you do not put in the work, there is absolutely no chance that you're going to get an internship. If you do not want to spend your nights coding projects, making your CV beautiful, learning skills, grinding lead code, there's absolutely zero chances of you getting that internship. And that is something that I just want to put out. Like, that's the first thing I want to tell you guys. If you do not want to put in the work, you're not going to get the internship. So, what I did, I grinded. Like, let me tell you guys, I grinded. I coded projects, I launched the new technologies. What basically I did, I went to LinkedIn and I was looking at the listings for software engineering interns, and I looked at whatever they wanted. So in my web development course, they taught me stuff like JavaScript, they taught me Node.js, they taught me Python because my degree is mainly taught in Python, and I took it upon myself to learn like C sharp, TypeScript, React, all these frameworks that I needed in software development. And I also started teaching myself like AWS, Azure, how to deploy stuff, how do the GitOps, the CI/CD pipelines, and everything. Right now, as I am right now, almost and in like my second year, I'm getting ready to do my final year. I can tell you that this is stuff that we were taught in class. I knew we were going to be taught this stuff, and I was like, what's the difference between me applying now and applying later? Why not just apply it now, and then I'll see what they actually need, and if later if I need to apply again, I can just apply again. So I locked in, and let me tell you guys, I grinded. I grinded for like 2 months. I was not sleeping and everything, and I did all that work, and I went to the web, like the career website, and I applied. Initially, I'd applied to the Germany office, and they rejected me, and I felt so bad. I literally felt so bad. I felt so bad. I wanted to cry. But then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do whatever I need to do and grind because I must get into this company. This is what I need to do. And I know they are most probably the only company that will take me that speaks English because they mainly have an international environment. And at the time, my German was not the best. I was not ready to function in a new work environment, in a new language. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to make this happen. And so I grinded, went to the company website. I applied to 5 locations. I applied to one in Africa. I applied to three in the US, and I applied to one in Ireland. Ireland. I never know how to pronounce it, but one in the EU. And my application obviously was rejected by three of those locations, and I was left with one location in the US and one location now in the EU. And then the EU office chose to pick my application, and then they processed it, and we went ahead. I went ahead and did the online assessment. Online assessment, they give you the materials that you need to study for. They gave me the things for the behaviorals and everything. And I studied, guys. I skipped classes. It was during exam season. Actually, it was around this time last year. I skipped classes. I grinded and grinded and grinded and grinded. Let me tell you, I put in the work, guys. And after I finished the online assessment, I did it on a Sunday. Monday evening, they told me, okay, it's good. We're giving you a date for the interview. Then I talked to them and I was like, no, I can't do that day because I happen to have an exam on that date. And then they said, okay, it's fine. Please give us a date because it's a bit late and everything. Now we're in mid June. Now we're in mid June because I had applied on like the 25th of May, and then now like when mid June they picked up my application, and then we were just moving fast. And I told them, they gave me another date, and I did my interview. Now I had 10 days up until the date when I was supposed to do my interview. And let me tell you guys, I sat down and I studied like, let me tell you, Lit Code, Hacker Rank, I did all of them. The Neat Code 150, guys, go and watch the Neat Code 150. There is no way you're going to pass an SDE interview without knowing algorithms. You cannot pass an SDE interview without algorithms and data structures. You can pass without system design because that is mainly for the entry level roles. But then for a lot of the software engineering roles, guys, you are going to need to learn algorithms, data structures and algorithms. You need to know what a hash table is. You need to know how to map your thingies. You need to know logarithmic time. You need to know all time. Like, you need to know all that stuff. If you don't know the stuff, there is no way you're going to make it. You will not make it in this department. You will not make it in this field. You need to learn. So I did that and I grinded. Let me tell you, I was doing like 4 hours every day, 4 to 6 hours every day. I'd attempt, if within 30 minutes I'm not done, sit down, YouTube, and I watch the video, do it. Next day, I repeat the same thing up until I'm able to finish the start question within like 10 minutes. And the thing with this thing is that most people say that the more you learn, the easier it gets, but then that's not the case. It's the more you learn, um the more you come to understand the patterns. That's what happens. Once you understand the patterns, you can skip the path of having to learn for, I don't know, 70 hours or doing 700 lead code questions. You don't need to do 700 lead code questions. You just need to learn the patterns and master them in such a way if someone were to spring up a new question to you, it would be easy for you to do it. And yeah, I went in, did the interview. At the end, I got my offer. And yeah, that's essentially how I landed the interview. And that's how I landed an internship with like a big five company. And yeah, guys, like, if you don't put in the work, you're not going to get it. Like, yes, the job market is cooked, but then there's people out here who are still getting these internships. They're still getting these jobs. Not because okay, there's people who get them through nepotism. I'm not gonna lie, there's people who get it through nepotism. But then you're not supposed to assume that that's the case for everyone. It might seem like it's the case for everyone, but then that doesn't necessarily mean that that's the case for everyone. People are actually putting in the work and they're getting this. So yeah, that's it from me. And yeah, I hope to see you guys in the next video. Bye. I know this is very different from what I normally do, but yeah, hopefully it helps someone.